Hey guys, welcome back. So in this week's video, we are finally spotlighting kids and baby vendor booths for pop-up events, craft fairs, any type of market, you name it. This is what we're going to cover. So what that includes is going to be clothing for kids and baby, as well as toys or any type of knickknack or item that would be good for mama or for dada or for the kid itself. So with that, this first booth that we're taking a look at right now, this is a vendor that I've actually gotten to know. She's done a couple of different pop-ups with me. We have popped up at the same event a number of times. Here we can actually see her set up at an indoor pop-up event that was in a retail space, as well as the previous clip was at an outdoor festival. So I love her setup. It's kind of changed over time, and I know she's constantly evolving, trying to figure out what works best for her setup. And as we're moving forward, you're gonna notice that some of these vendors have different types of styles or aesthetics and color palettes, and you can see that some of them are kind of more of a traditional tent set up with, you know, tables and their displays, while others might have, I don't want to call it a more modern, but just kind of a elevated booth. So either one works great. You really got to learn your target audience and think about the people who will be attending the event that you are participating in. You know, are you popping up in a luxury shopping district, or are you popping up in a small rural farmers market environment? You know, I think that kind of does make a difference for how much effort you put into your booth. And I want to be careful how I explain this. I think that no matter where you are, you definitely want to put effort into your branding and your signs and your whole setup. But to what degree, I think it depends on your target audience, is all I'm getting at. So, as we're moving forward, taking a look at some of these different vendors for inspiration, I want you to pay close attention to what stands out to you, especially if they sell a similar product to you. Which of these booths that we're taking a look at resonate more closely with your brand, and which ones are drawing you in and capturing your attention? And then you also want to think about, when you're creating your own booth, what your budget is. Maybe you're just starting out, and in reality, let's be honest, we don't all have, we're not all balling on a budget. So we do want to start simple and kind of build as we grow. And you'll find over time, what is easy for you to set up. I think that's really important when you're thinking about your own setup, is how long does it take me to actually set this up? Because if it takes you 5 hours, then it's probably not going to make sense for you long term to continue with that type of setup. Because if you're doing several events per year, let's think maybe you're doing them weekly. You probably don't have the capacity, unless you have a lot of helpers, you probably don't have the capacity to do an advanced over-the-top setup. So sometimes starting with a more simple setup and figuring out like what you can quickly set up and then break apart at the end of the day, I think that's important. Now we're kind of looking at some of the vendors that I stumbled upon while I was in Thailand. I wanted to include these because it was a family-friendly night market, and there were a lot of booths with toys and different kids souvenirs. So I thought it was really cool to get to share with you guys. One, it's a night market. I haven't spotlighted very many night markets in my series in the past, but two, it's really cool to see how vendors are setting up their booths all over the world. You might have seen some of my previous international pop-up inspiration videos. I have one for South Korea, Japan, and here we have Thailand. I also have one for Venice Beach, and then of course I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I've got tons and tons from all over Georgia as well. This one was a South Korea pop-up, and with this one, I realized it was kind of hard for me it's hard for you guys to see the actual booth setups. So I did capture a clip where I tried to pause on the actual, or not pause, I slowed down the kids vendor with those plush toys, so you guys could kind of get a better view of it, as well as this one. But I didn't zoom in as well as I should have, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to include it nonetheless because, once again, South Korea vendor, super cool. And I loved the tents that they had at this booth, and I loved that they had lights as well. So that was it. So what I would recommend, maybe watch this video one more time and pause on any of the vendor booths that stood out to you, and that way you can go ahead and figure out what it is exactly that they did that you enjoyed, what you appreciated, what resonated with you, and maybe replicate that in your own booth. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you are a vendor looking for more pop-up events, then you need to get on the wait list for my brand new app that I'm launching this spring of 2025. This app is going to make it so much easier for you to find events, and not only find events, but find events that are actually worth your time and you can actually bring in sales at, because this app will allow vendors to review or rate their experience at a particular event. That way, future vendors can avoid the events where the event organizers do not do a great job getting people to actually show up to the event and stuff like that. So I will link to where you can sign up for the waitlist down below. You'll get a freebie about pop-up tips and tricks. It's like a little cheat sheet that you can get in the meantime while you're waiting for the app to launch. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.